Okay, we're ready now for our Tier 2 rudiments from the Rudimental Learning Sequence. The first rudiment I have on this chart is the Paradiddle-diddle. Now, hopefully you've worked through all of the rudiments on the first tier of the learning sequence. We have the paradiddle, which we learn with our stroke styles, down, up, tap, tap, down, up, tap, tap. So hopefully you're very comfortable with those three stroke styles of the downstroke, the upstroke, and the taps. Now, paradiddle-diddle, really you should be able to play this whether you're in a Tier 2 or just adding on to the Tier 1 rudiments. It's basically a paradiddle with an extra diddle, but it has a little bit of a different feel to it. And this is a rudiment that is very, very common with a lot of the marching percussion vocabulary, and we use it on drum set all of the time. So really encourage you to learn this. Learn it slow, just like all of the other rudiments, but this is a rudiment that's pretty fun to play faster. So the paradiddle-diddle is two single strokes, para, diddle, diddle, which is a double and a double. So we can play this off of the right hand, which means that it doesn't alternate, so it will always start on the right, or we can play it off of the left hand, always starting on the left. Let's start with the right hand paradiddle-diddle first. What we're doing is we're starting with our stick up and we're playing a downstroke. And remember, the paradiddle had an upstroke on our second stroke. This one will just be a tap. So down, tap, tap, tap. So our paradiddle, but without the upstroke. Okay? Now, instead of playing two taps and leaving our sticks low like we did on the paradiddle, what I'm going to do is play that diddle and lift my hand up. So paradid up, did up, paradiddle, and lift your stick on the same right stick on that second stroke of the double. So paradiddle, and then guess what happens? This one is prepared to play the next accent, but I finish off by adding a diddle or a double stroke in my left hand. So this one will just be a tap tap at a low volume level. Paradiddle-diddle. See how I lift it up for that? Paradiddle-diddle. And I should be ready to play another one. So it's a really simple rudiment in that it doesn't alternate. You play the same stroke styles on every single one of them. It becomes a little bit more difficult as we move to our left hand, and it becomes a little bit more difficult as we speed up. But let's start it really slow. I want you to think of paradid up, tap, tap. Paradid up, tap, tap. Paradid up, tap, tap. Now I'm really breaking this down. You can really just think of playing diddle and lifting your hand back up. Now, we can use that molar stroke that we talked about with the paradiddle, with that upstroke. So as I'm playing my diddle, I can lift up with my wrist first. I can just kind of let that hand drop for that second stroke of the diddle, for the second double, and then bring it up to the upstroke, or to the up position. Paradid up, tap, tap. Paradid up, tap, tap. Paradid up, tap, tap. Paradiddle-diddle. 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 All right, so pretty simple, right? At the very slowest tempos. Now, you also want to break that down and do it off of the left hand. But like I said, does not alternate. So work on your right hand paradiddle-diddle until it feels really comfortable. Okay, really nice and flow on your upstroke and downstroke. You don't have to think of paradid up, tap, tap, paradid up, tap, tap. You don't have to be that exact with it. Try just a flow of that wash on, wash off every time. All right, remember with your downstroke that all I'm doing is cushioning those back fingers into the palm to stop the stick from rebounding. You do not have to hit the drum harder. and you don't have to overly squeeze, all right? In fact, do not really squeeze the stick because that introduces a lot of tension in your hand. We don't want that. So we'd really want to think of playing it in the air, and you can do this anywhere. Okay, just getting that motion of the upstroke, and the left hand stays tap, double, every single paradiddle-diddle. All right, a couple more of the right hands. Paradiddle-diddle, paradiddle-diddle, paradid up. All right, so like with every other rudiment that you're going to do, you got to use your critical listening skills. I really recommend that you practice along with the metronome or the play-along tracks, especially at the bronze level, doing that very first tempo to where you can get that really nice and steady, even strokes in between. So you have the accent, 2-height rudiment, accent, freeze the stick. So it almost sounds like I'm doing this. Everything in between the accent, nice, good, solid strokes. All right, let's try it off with the left hand. Now remember, your right hand does not lift, down, tap, tap, up. So think of a paradiddle, down, tap, tap, up, but you're gonna lift on that second stroke of the double. Might be a little awkward if you're not used to starting with your left hand, but them's the rules. You got to be able to play off your left hand. So just try the paradiddle off of the left and leave your stick up when you finish. Ready, go. Paradiddle. Ready, go. Paradiddle. Ready, go. Paradiddle. So really practice that really nice and relaxed upstroke. And then add the diddle, but put some space in between. Paradiddle-diddle. Ready, go. Paradiddle-diddle. Ready, go. Paradid-up-diddle. All right, and those taps are down here. Now take out the extra space and just play paradiddle-diddles off of the left. Ready, go. Paradiddle-diddle, 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 paradiddle. So this is the first rudiment, and the reason why I include it in my tier is that you've got to get used to being able to play a diddle and lift that second stroke, okay? So you might just practice that a little bit. Diddle, 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 and getting that really nice relaxed upstroke. Now notice that when I'm doing my upstroke, I'm not trying to move my elbow, I'm just moving my arm. So that's the paradiddle-diddle. Now we could stop there and you could go over to the bronze level of the play-along tracks and play along with me at the bronze level. Should be able to do it at that tempo. And just listen to the sound. You could watch yourself in a mirror playing those. Make sure I've got the full height and then the tap height down there. And then every other time, I started off of the opposite hand. So right one time, drop 4, left one time, drop 4. Okay, now the real key to the paradiddle-diddle comes when we're playing faster because we're playing those doubles. Faster and faster, just like we worked on with our double stroke roll. Except for now we're not playing doubles up there, we're playing them as nice solid taps. So as you get faster, what a lot of percussionists like to do is they like to break the rudiment down one hand at a time. So if I took my left hand and I put it on my leg and I just played the right hand on the drum, here's what I would have. Paradiddle-diddle. So I could just work on my right hand or my left hand just playing that part that they play, that it plays during the paradiddle-diddle. This is also a really important technique that we're going to learn and use often throughout the rudiments. We call it huckadicks. Don't know why, don't know who named it. Huckadick, 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 huckadick. So what this involves is that nice full accent stroke, downstroke, cushioning the stick into the palm of the hand, okay, not squeezing the hand, because we really need to be able to be relaxed for our kadick. Huck, kadick, 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 huck, kadick. So I encourage you to practice one hand at a time on the right and the left. See how my hand is lifting up while I'm playing my double? Huckadick, huckadick, huckadick. That's the technique that you're really working on when you're learning this rudiment. And as you speed up, huckadick, 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 huckadick. As you speed up, the motion of the upstroke becomes less and less. All right? That is what's going to propel you into the faster speeds of playing the paradiddle-diddle. So after you get it down at a slow tempo, really listening to those inner beats, that they're really nice and clear and clean, and you're playing a nice 3-inch tap stroke. As you speed up, your kadick, your double with the upstroke, becomes a little bit more of a relaxed double stroke, and then eventually a bounce. All right, so it'll take a while. All right, you're not going to be able to play paradiddles, diddle-diddles that fast. But you will be eventually, if you work on it with the proper technique, slow. So, tier number 2, the very first rudiment, paradiddle-diddles. Now, along with this, you could learn your other paradiddle rudiments. You have everything you need to know to be able to play the double paradiddle, which is paradiddle, 4 singles and a double. Double pair up diddle, double pair up diddle. It's just like a paradiddle with 2 extra singles. So yeah, you could work out the double paradiddle. You can jump over to that rudiment and learn that one. You could also jump over and do the triple paradiddle. Guess what? 2 more singles. Paradiddle, paradiddle. So the only thing that's tricky about this, which is not tricky at all, if you play it with one accent, is that you have to learn where the lift happens. The lift happens before, on the stroke before the diddle. The lift always, or the upstroke always prepares you to play the next downstroke. Double pair a diddle, double pair a diddle, double pair a diddle, double pair a diddle. So the diddle becomes your upstroke. All right. The other ways that you can play it, I'll cover in the other rudiments. I'm about to go into it, but you don't need to know all that stuff. So you can learn right now the double paradiddle and the triple paradiddle. They're just not essential because they don't really teach you any new techniques. So work on your paradiddle-diddle, and then if you want something else to try your double paradiddle, try your triple paradiddle.